awesome!
Hey y'all, Noons here, and welcome back to Noons Airborne RC. And if it's your first time here, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so you can get notified for future content. Well everybody, today, a little bit something new, quad day. I know a lot of you don't know I do quads. I just started getting into them a little bit with the FPV stuff and rigging the planes, but I wanted to go ahead and get a quad to go on vacations and capture cinematic stuff, you know, for my own personal stuff, nothing to post on YouTube. So I went ahead and I picked up a drone, not for that, just to basically get used to them and flying and everything. What you see here, guys, is the Iflight Nazgul version 2. It is a 4S. It comes with the S-King 20, I believe they are, oh gosh, 3750 kV motors on 4S. This thing rips, guys. Comes with the DJI digital system, has the caddx Vista Pro with the caddx camera on it. It is not the Pro, just the basic. This was a bind and fly model. It does come with the FrSky XSR mini receiver, and I'll get to binding that in a little bit. Everything was pretty much plug and play, guys. The only thing I had to do was I went into Betaflight and I set up my OSD the way that I wanted for it to work. Amazing quad, 4S. Running it on our race day quads, 1500 100Cs, and I'm getting about 6 minutes flight time. A little bit about this quad, guys. It's more of a freestyle. It's got a lot of power. The props are in peripheral view, so it's not a Cinewhoop by no means. Let's start with the receiver, binding. So there's two versions of this receiver that I've come to find out. You have an older version and a newer version, where the especially binding it with the Radiomaster TX16. If you have an older version, you have to flash the newest software on there and bind it as an FrSky D16 receiver, and she binds. The receiver in here is the newer version. Took me an hour, couldn't get it to bind it. Then I did a little reading on the internet, and then I saw in here that there was an FrSky V2 protocol, also D16. I switched to that, she bound right there. So if you guys are going to be getting this model and you're having trouble binding it with your radio, try the FrSky V2. The DJI system, guys, pretty self-explanatory. I bound it to my goggles. We'll get to that in a little bit. She bound up, and that was pretty much it. Now the OSD on this, guys, you do get the OSD from the Success F4 controller, and in your goggles, when you select custom OSD, you get the Betaflight OSD, but when you're recording, you don't get that in recording. It's just a clear view, just something so you guys can go ahead and keep in mind on that. So it does not bring up the OSD on the recording. Now there is a program later on that it will inlay your OSD settings, but I don't really care about that. I just want to see if it works. It works pretty good, the artificial horizon and everything. Thinking about putting one of these flight controllers in a plane. All in all, guys, she's true. She flies good. There's going to be some video at the end of me trying to chase some planes at the airfield today. I tried. I do have to angle the camera up. I found out that with speed, you have to have it at an angle, and you have to give throttle for it to zip on. Now my camera's looking straight, so when I'm doing that to keep up with the planes, I'm looking down, so I am gonna have to tip this camera a little bit up, so it will get a little better. Now for this quad right here, I do have the DJI version 2 goggles. Yep. And if you're wondering about this little nifty case, I got it on Pyro Drone. It was 20 bucks. It form fields to your goggles right there, so no bolstering, right? If you're into sports cars, you know what I'm talking about. Now these are the version 2s. These are what's coming out with the new drone FPV system. This is just the FPV goggles. I did not, well, I did and I didn't, guys. I did have a problem activating these, just like everybody else. I did try the fix that was on Bradwell's site on retarding the firmware, logging in as a DJI support account, retarding them back a version, then being able to switch from the drone menu to the FPV menu, upgrading it to the newer version, then activating. And I've had no problems with it. Now, one thing that I will tell you on binding to a Vista or an air unit, it tells you to put it in bind mode and push this little red button one time and it will bind. Nope. Now, like I said, I do have a version that did activate. These are the version 2. I didn't have a drone to activate it whatsoever. I did the procedures and it worked for me. But then everybody that has done it is having a problem binding to units. I'm gonna tell you right now, I sneezed and I accidentally pushed this down 2 times and it bound. And I've had to do that to the Vista, to the air unit, and to the other air unit that I have. I've always had to push the bind button 2 times. I push it once, it'll beep, but it won't continue to beep. If I push it 2 times, it will start going through the process and it binds every time. So if you guys are having a binding problem, push this 2 times real quick, 1, 2, and it bound for me. 9:45 at night till 2:15 in the morning. And then I finally sneezed and it worked. That was a long, long night with no sleep, guys. With the version 2, it is a transmitter and a receiver. So like with the analog systems, if you don't have the antennas on it, no harm, no foul. With this, if you don't have the antennas hooked up to it, these left-hand circle hand antennas, you will blow this and you guys are basically gonna go ahead and junk it out. Does recording. I do have the SD card slot. I did record, like I said, I do have the Vista on here, guys. So this does not have onboard recording. The DJI Air units do, and the DJI Air units, they record in 4K, I believe up to 120 frames per second, where I recorded in the goggles, and the goggles record, I believe, in 810p at 60 frames a second, but it looks pretty damn clean. You guys will go ahead and see. The goggles, they are out now, guys. I don't know if you guys heard the rumor that DJI is going to stop making the FPV units. I did some researching and all the reading on the internet. So basically what I found out is that DJI is banned from importing and using USA-based chips and chipsets, where the air units have been using USA-based chipsets, which goes against the embargo or the ban that's set upon them. So they pretty much said, we're not going to make them. They're going to pawn it off to a secondary company. It could be caddx, it could be some other company that's not DJI, so they can go ahead and build it. So I wouldn't worry about that, guys. About, like, I think it was April time frame. They said that the new ones are going to be out, so hopefully they're new and improved. And that's about it. Binding, guys, like I said, other than getting through that bind issue to version 2 on FR Sky, it bound up. I have my AUX5 for my throttle to go ahead and arm the quad, and I have my function modes right here, basically acro and a stability mode, and that was it. Fresh out the box. I didn't have to tune anything. I didn't have to mess with the PIDs. I didn't mess with any rates. I just flew it straight out the box, and she's pretty sound, guys. Well, guys, that's a quick down and dirty on the FPV system. If you guys got any more questions on it, go ahead and put it down in the link below. If you're having any problems trying to link it, I've been one of the lucky ones, I guess, or I just beat the dead horse until I killed it 50,000 times. Go ahead and drop any comments down and links and I'll get back to you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the flight video at the end. Noon's out.
Get some!